Buffalo Sabres could not be any more back. Yeah, they just kicked the crap out of the Maple Leafs in their own barn. Good point, yep. The arena was empty and booing at them at the end. That's true. Dahlin had his first career hat trick and a 5-point night. Good call, yes. The Sabres are now 8 points ahead of the Maple Leafs in the standings. They're also 6 points ahead of the first team out in the East. Yeah. Not to mention, they have won 19 of their last 23 games and are on a 139-point pace if you stretch it out for 82 games. That's true. Could this really be the year the Sabres end the drought? You make such a great point. Folks, the Buffalo Sabres might just be back, and I feel so bad for Steve Dangle. Welcome back to Gatesy's Win More, Lots More. Presented by Batavia Downs Gaming Hotel, and the Buffalo Sabres beat the Toronto Maple Leafs 7-4 in their own barn. Yes, in their own barn to continue this incredible streak they are on. And this game was probably one of the weirder hockey games you'll see over the course of this season. You know, we're going to talk about the great things from Dahlin and this team, but, you know, Dahlin obviously gets a hat trick tonight. He has a 5-point night, incredible game for him, his first career hat trick. Awesome. But for him to do it, you know, this game, after the news came out a couple days ago with, you know, his wife and her surgeries and what they lost, and it's obviously very sad, but it's awesome, just the game he had today. I know it's been kind of a longer year for him with just, you know, everything going on outside the rink, and, you know, the points, and there's been a lot of talk about just, you know, it's not the player we've seen in previous years, but it's understandable why. But he had an incredible game tonight. It's incredible. Very happy for Rasmus, you know, to have this game, to have the support from the guys, seeing like Jason Zucker take his helmet off to throw it on for a hat trick was awesome. This team is rallying around him. You know, he's leading this team on and off the ice. You can tell that. And yeah, it's very happy for him for his hat trick. But his hat trick tonight was probably the weirdest hat trick you'll ever see. If there's a weirder one out there, like, please let me know, because the 3 goals he scored tonight were... You can't draw them up like that. First one goes for a backdoor pass to Jason Zucker, tips off Morgan Riley in. Doesn't even register as a shot on goal. It's a power play goal as well. So, you know, shout out Seth Appert for drawing up that beauty for the Sabres. But first goal for Dahlin, for you count at home. Pass doesn't even register as a shot. That's his first. His second one, Rasmus Dahlin, known defenseman, is net front on this play. 5-on-5. Tips in a shot from Mattias Samuelsson. Beautiful. Defenseman tip in front. Sure. Third one, full ice empty netter. It's just, yeah, beautiful for Rasmus. 5-point night for him. I can't say enough good things about him, but such a weird game too. Like I talked about the weird hat trick, just the weirdest game overall, where, you know, the Sabres score early, gets called back for offsides, whatever. The first two goals for the Sabres, talked about the Dahlin one with the pass. The second one, same exact thing from Josh Doan. A pass, not going in, tips off a Leaf and in the net. The Sabres, I felt like it is probably just I don't know, the opposite of a gambler's fallacy like thing, where it just felt like they never got the bounces. Tonight they did. If they don't get those bounces early on, do they win this game? I don't know, because they're behind the 8 ball a little bit. They're playing sloppy. I mean, you look at the goals they gave up as well in the first, the 2 they did. The Sabres are giving up high danger chances. It's the game. Again, I'm going to keep circling back to it's just weird. You have UPL start in net. He gets through, 12 minutes of the game. He gives up 2. He goes out with an injury. But it's weird because he gives up the goal, and about a minute-ish later, there's a immediate timeout, and he leaves the game then. He's out, the full game with a lower body injury, the Sabres said. So I'm hoping for the best for UPL, especially, with the Olympics coming up. It seemed like a big deal for him. He made the team. So hopefully it's, something minor and go from there. But, the Sabres are having the weirdest bad luck with the 3-goalie system all year. Every time they get back to 3 goalies and someone's healthy, like someone comes back from being healthy, someone else goes down. We've had Lyon, Ellis, UPL, all throughout the point of the season go down. The Sabres are, the 3-goalie system is working at this point because Ellis stepped in and played great, stopping 17 of 19 tonight. He's a gamer. Every time he's in, he's just a gamer. It kind of looks ugly at times, but he stops pucks when he has to. The 2 he gave up to, again, high danger chances the Sabres are giving up. Need less of that. Need less high danger chances going up. You look at the scoring, like where the shots were, looks a lot better for the Leafs. The Sabres, got a lot of chances, but not a ton of great ones. But they capitalized on the few they had. They got great bounces as well. Like, I think the Leafs might have, the Sabres outworked them. They had higher possession times, but the Sabres, I think, got lucky in this win. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're finding ways to win, but they're capitalizing the chances they have. And the thing with luck, too, is at the end, they bared down. They were able to survive. They got the saves they needed to. They got the blocks they needed to. They scored when they had the chances. Like, that's the makings of a good team. We could complain so long and saw for so long of the Sabres finding ways to lose games. Now they're finding ways to win. It's not pretty every night. It scares me at times, too, but they're finding ways to win. I'm never going to complain about that. This team is something special. I have just the weirdest confidence in them where they're winning in the third period. I was texting my buddy Schwetzy, who's a big Leafs fan. We all have character flaws. And I just felt confident about the Sabres in the third period. I know the Leafs are struggling right now, but they showed the stat in the game that the Sabres are 14-1 this season or over this stretch when, leading after the first period. Like, I feel confident when they have a lead, they're going to be able to hang on to it. They have a multi-goal lead in the third period. I'm not scared of every single play happening that it's going to be the beginning of an avalanche. No pun intended, but it's a reassuring thing that this team is doing good. I keep pushing the goalpost farther and farther and farther and farther back for them, when they're hitting those expectations, and they're exceeding those expectations every time as well. The run they are on right now is incredible. I'm just expecting the Sabres to win now. It doesn't make any sense to me that they're doing that, but the Sabres team is doing it. And kind of getting back into the game now, I got a little talking about too much going with the Sabres, but they're tied 2-2 with the Leafs in the first period. They knot it back up. And now it's like, okay, who's going to, after the weird goals the Sabres were scoring, the Leafs were getting high danger chances, it's kind of back and forth. What's going to happen? How are the Sabres going to respond to this? Are they going to keep trying to get pucks on net? Yes. Tage Thompson, after his goal gets called back early in the game, he scores the long way with a wrist shot way past the top of the circles. Puck had eyes, and this first line is incredible right now. Tage got that goal. Alex Tuch scores later in the game too, 16 seconds into the third period. I'm jumping around a bit, but I want to talk about this first line because they put Zach Benson on the first line tonight. They got rid of that kid line with Benson, Ostlund, and Helenius. They split that up, which was shocking at first, but hey, I took hat off to Lindy Ruff because that was a great play. Now that first line was the Sabres' best line. Helenius with Doan and Ostlund was phenomenal as well. That line didn't really miss a beat. But having Benson in that first line made them score goals. You look at the Tuch goal he gets later on, 16 seconds in the third. Awesome. I talked last one about how I care so much about the last and first 2 minutes of periods and trying to win those. Sabres did that tonight. Awesome. They started that third period off strong, and that's what gave me that confidence too of this team. I'm not worried about them being able to hang on to the lead because they're going to put their foot on the gas. We've had worrisome weeks of the Sabres grasping on to try to survive in a game, but not tonight. They get that goal from Tuch, which is great. Jack Quinn really puts the nail in the coffin off of a beautiful pass from Dahlin. Shades of the Cousins goal in overtime a few years ago at home, where they got it, the big lob up right on the stick in a goal. Jack Quinn gets that long pass from Dahlin, and he scores. And Jack Quinn now is 12 on the year, and he's creeping up there a little bit. If they can get him north of 20, that seems very doable. If they can get him at 25, if Jack Quinn's a 25 goal scorer, I'll do something. Maybe write a comment, and I'll pick one that I like. But they're getting this production all up the lineup. You see the first line having multi-point night. Dahlin obviously going nuclear. And that's awesome for the Sabres because we looked over the course of the season. The team was being carried a lot from their middle six, from their depth guys. But when you get a game where your stars are like to the star level that you could only hope and dream of, that's when you score 7 goals. In a game where you kind of played not down to your opponent, but they were irresponsible defensively. They gave up a lot of good chances, but they found ways to win. So I am not going to complain. I am not some sort of pompous, winner where they have to win a certain way, but it's awesome that they're finding different ways to do it. They're finding ways to win, and that is going to be my takeaway every single time they do it. I don't care how ugly it is. I might have complained a little bit about, the concerns defensively and, giving up a lot of high danger chance. I think that's fair. I think that's fair just a little bit, but they're finding ways to win. Ellis is a gamer. I brushed over this too. He could have lost his job. Like if UPL doesn't get hurt, how long would they have kept the 3 goalie system? They might have waived him, but they kept him. He played great tonight. He keeps his job in Buffalo. He's going to be an NHLer, longer stretch now because he felt like the odd man out with UPL playing the way he did. UPL, coming in tonight in his last 10 games was 7-2-1 with a .922 save percentage. He was playing great tonight. It was, tough in the first period, but not the end of the world. Hopefully he's okay though. Hopefully he's okay. But Ellis, I can't say enough good things. He shows up when he has to, when he's called upon, when he's written off basically. And it reminds us why he's still here. So very happy for Colton Ellis. Shout out the Nova Scotia goaltenders. And yeah, final thought too is Helenius. He feels he's the Lindy Ruff guy. Ruff had him out there to start the Toronto empty net, and he was the star of the Sabres 5-on-6. Which is crazy to say for a guy in just, a small handful of NHL games to not only, one, be out there, but to be just the guy out there where he's blocking shots, he's in lanes, he's causing traffic. They get the puck out, and he is the one forechecking to try to get the empty netter to let his guys change. I don't know what the Sabres are going to do when they get guys healthy, but 94 needs to stay in the lineup. He's done nothing to prove otherwise. He's getting his chances offensively. He's been a rock defensively. He plays both ends. But at least we have the Buffalo Sabres with everything going on in Buffalo in the sports world with the Bills doing what they're doing right now and the crazy couple weeks there. The Bandits, are going for their 4-peat. Some loss in there. We always have the Buffalo Sabres. They feel like they're winning the city over right now. It's awesome. If you've been off the Sabres bandwagon, this is your first time coming to this post game, but thank you for being here. It means a lot. Let me know, your thoughts on the team, how you're feeling. Welcome to the warpath because we're back on the warpath. The Sabres are on the warpath yet again, and I feel like I'm dreaming. I like black out during these videos. I'll a little trust tree moment, just me and you at home. But I get just the weirdest deja vu every time I'm doing this towards the end of just, I can't believe this is the Sabres team. The beginning of the year till now is a complete polar opposite. It doesn't make any sense, the changes that have happened under Jarmo Kekalainen. I don't know what's going to happen. It's scary to think about the Olympic break coming up because this team has been playing so well. You'd think the move's going to happen before the Olympics. The Sabres are going to make one because you only have 2 weeks between, the Sabres' first game back from the Olympics and, the trade deadline on March 6th. So it's like, okay, is Jarmo going to make a move to bolster this team? I mean, they're not selling, obviously. What's going to happen there? Are they going to get a Tuck extension done? It's a weird spot where that's so much money for him, and the Sabres should not. I'm going to put it out there. They're not trading Alex Tuck. Getting assets for him, pointless. This team is ready to win right now. Alex Tuck is helping them win right now. Deal with the contract stuff after if they can't get it done. He's important to this team right now. Keep him here. Getting, a late first rounder does absolutely nothing. Get another, Isak Rosén in there. Great player. Well, he's a good player when he came up this year. But this team has, the pieces. They just need a little elevation. Alex Tuch is at elevation right now. If he's here forever, great. I would not be any happier if Alex Tuch finished his career as a Buffalo Sabre. But if he walks his free agency, I don't care. It'd suck, but he got the Buffalo Sabres to the postseason, ending the drought. Ideally, I'm not getting too far ahead of myself. But the Sabres just keep moving. They're only 4 points behind the Red Wings now. I think they have 2 games in hand too. It's scary. It's scary because this is getting more and more real. We can have fun. I love to have fun talking about the Sabres in case you couldn't tell. And over the first month or two, I love to over-exaggerate things and enjoy the wins that they're having. But there's so much season left. You're like, oh, it's not going to last forever. Now it's to the point. This is a 24-game stretch they're on right now. I think I said earlier that they're doing this. It's a lot of your season. It's incredible. It truly is that they're still doing it, and that we're at this point in the year where the expectations are there. They're not going to do the thing that's all in the back of our head. They're not doing it. But we're going to keep, moving the goalposts little by little of this team. And folks, I have gone on for way too long, but it's hard not to talk about this Sabres team, what they're doing, how they're coming together. You can see it on the ice. Guys are playing better too, One last thing. Sorry, I've gone on for too long, but one last thing. It doesn't matter. UPL could win 10 straight Stanley Cups for the Buffalo Sabres, but the second he gives up a goal, everyone wants him gone. It is honestly, I love it at this point. It pleases me to no end. Anytime there's a goal, even if it's true, he's overreacting, oversliding, everyone's got to say it. So folks, let's enjoy tonight and keep enjoying this run every single game. It's been a blast. I thank you for being here. If you're, a longtime watcher of this series of, 52 games, 53 games, you've been doing it. Thank you. If you're new, welcome. Hope to have you back next game as the Sabres look to continue their warpath, continue the streak to hopefully end the drought. And folks, this has been a blast. I will see you all next game. And let's go Sabres.